Oida Energy. Oida Energy at NICE 2026. Oida Energy at NICE 2026. Welcome to Oida Energy. Welcome to Oida Energy, NICE 2026. Oida Energy, NICE 2026. Welcome to Oida Fireside Chat at Oida Energy, Tuesday, 4th August 2026, with Mrs. Ibukun Awosika and Dr. Jennifer Miss Kimmins.
So normally she starts.
Can you hear from there? This is Oida Energy. This is Oida Energy.
Joblex is holding a technical session on optimizing cooperative operations for maximum reservoir productivity.
This is Oida Energy.
Test 1, 2. Yes. Good. Can you hear? Can you hear?
NPT Petroleum Geoscience Limited is recruiting young graduates for it. Petroleum Geoscience Limited is recruiting young graduates for experiment for you and become a volunteer. Petroleum Geoscience Limited is recruiting young graduates for experiment for you and become a volunteer. Service, only the technical presentation. But stop by the door to be example. There will be lots of prizes. Any question for you say, holding the technical section, not private one, and that will
Okay, good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the energy industry, and everyone joining us live on Tunga 100.9 FM. My name is Sarah Olushisi. I am your host and interviewer on today's special Fireside Chats, coming to you from NAHIS 2026. And I am highly, honored to welcome you all once again, and thank you for joining us because today's session is going to be a wonderful one with remarkable voices, respectable voices, with us on this session, sharing us their ideas, their knowledge and the practical insights that will help us to shape the future of the energy. And today's fireside chat is not just a discussion. It is an opportunity for us to explore innovation, leadership, to explore, sustainable and also involving the role of professionals in this future of the energy. So today, like I said, whether you are at the exhibition booth or you're watching us live from Tuga 100.9 FM, thank you so very much for joining us. And I will encourage all of us to stay tuned throughout the session because it's promising to be insightful, to be impactful, and also to be engaging. So let's begin with our remarkable guests, distinguished guests with us. And I would love to start with our guest, Madam Ibukun Awosika. Yes, because we have already. And let's start with our profile. Okay, Mrs. Awosika's short profile for every one of us, at the exhibition, and for those of us tuning live on Tunga 100.9 FM. Okay, let's have Madam Jennifer's. Okay, the 2026 SPEI President Profile, a person of Jennifer Miss Kimmins, Colorado School of Mines. Jennifer Miss Kimmins is a professor and the department head of the Petroleum Engineering Department at the Colorado School of Mines, where she holds the F.H. Mike Criteria Energy Distinguished Department Head Chair. She has over 30 years of experience in the petroleum industry, starting with Marathon Oil Company as a production engineer. Ms. Kimmins began teaching at Mines in 2002 and has held various appointments since then. From 2013 to 2015, she held a part-time appointment at Mines while working at Parent Associate. In 2016, she returned full-time to the university. Ms. Kimmins serves as the first completions technical director on the SPEI International Board of Directors. She was an SPEI distinguished lecturer in 2010 to 2011 and 2013 to 2014. She was awarded the 2014 SPEI Completion Optimization and Technology Award. And in 2022, she received the SPEI Distinguished Achievement Award for Petroleum Engineering Faculty. Ms. Kimmins has served on a variety of conference organizing committees, including chairing the 2023 and 2024 SPEI Hydraulic Fracturing Conference and Exhibition, and as a technical editor for SPEI journals, including serving as the executive editor of production and operation for 3 years. She was the editor-in-chief for the 2019 SPEI monograph update, Hydraulic Fracturing. Fundamentals and Advancement, Ms. Kimmins has served on the AIME Board of Trustees since 2018 as an SPEI trustee and was the 2022 AIME president. Ms. Kimmins holds a BS from the Montana College of Mineral Science and Technology and MS and PhD degrees from the Colorado School of Mines, all in petroleum engineering. Joining her is Mrs. Ibukun Awosika.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon once again. Apologies to let you know, Mrs. Ibukun, you'll not be able to join us currently because of our time zone change and with all the power outage. So yeah, we're going to have to deal with just Madam President. Thank you very much.
All right. Back to everyone of us at the exhibition. Don't let us forget this is a fireside chat at Oida Energy. So let's welcome our respected, distinguished guest on board. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
It's my pleasure to have you on board. Okay, ma'am. We have a few questions, we're engaging interactive, and I'm very sure everyone watching us live and direct will also want to, gain one or two, wants to have some ideas you are going to share us, in the energy industry. So our team, technology, talent, and the future of the energy. So let's start with the question here with me. So number one question. You are a petroleum engineer professor and SPEI's first female academic president. So what surprised you most about energy challenges in regions like West Africa during your tenure this year?
Sure. That's a great question. Thank you. Thank you for asking it. So I think my answer really is it's not just what I see in West Africa, but I've had the opportunity to travel the world in this role. One of the biggest differences that I see is the different situations and levels that different countries have associated with their energy mix. And I see where we have these different approaches, but for instance, I'm here in Nigeria, a very mature oil and gas industry, still great opportunities. But I also came from Namibia that has a very nascent, very new oil and gas industry that's kicking off. And I think that's one of those things that we're going to have to learn from each other a little bit and help with best practices between some of these different areas.
All right, thank you so very much. So on to the next. SPE has 125,000 members in 140 countries. So from your global vantage point, where is Africa leading in oil and gas technology, and where are we still importing solutions we should be building locally?
Yes, I've thought a little bit about this question. I think if I were to have to say they're leading someplace, or Africa's leading is in a lot of the deep water and some of the exploration areas. Again, very mature kind of technology in that area, and some great benefits that have been realized over time. I think probably importing solutions, this is again something I see internationally, more emissions control type of equipment, more minimizing of greenhouse gas emissions. That's a really hard thing to do in a lot of mature industries because we do have so much already in place. But that's probably something that could be built locally a little bit.
Okay, so AI, digital twins, automation, and data analytics are changing subsurface and operations. What skill will be most valuable for a 25-year-old petroleum engineer in 2030?
Yes, as a professor, I do get this question a lot. And my answer is pretty consistent. Understanding the basics. So people need to understand that data analytics, artificial intelligence, these are tools. They're tools that will help us do our jobs better. But we as engineers and geoscientists, we need to make sure that we are understanding the basics and make sure that what's coming out of those tools is realistic.
Realistic. So it makes the work better and efficient.
Absolutely, exactly.
Okay, so you've moved away from the first, question segment. We have A, B, and so now we are now at the big question, and that is energy security, transition, and Africa. So NIA's theme is energy security, technology, and innovation. How should Nigeria, frame its oil and gas story to attract capital, technology, and partnerships, and still retain energy sovereignty?
So I sat in on the panel session this morning. It was very interesting. It talked a little bit about some of these topics, and I took away some things in that particular area. I think probably one of the biggest things is there's a lot of opportunities for banks and investment firms to put money into capital investments. One thing that they're really looking for a lot of times is staying power. They want to make sure their investment is not a flash in the pan. They want to make sure that they have a long-term opportunity there. So keeping in mind that a lot of these firms have opportunities to compete worldwide for capital, making sure that they have confidence in the opportunities here in Nigeria and that those opportunities are going to be long-term and things aren't going to change really quickly. That's I think I'm good now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for the break in transmission. So we continue with a question, and we have another question. So just transition is debated globally. From a technician SPE lens, what role do you see for natural gas and indigenous technology in Africa's energy pathway over the next 15 years?
Yeah, this is something I think the opportunities are massive. It's amazing how much the indigenous companies have been able to do over the last several years. And there's this balance that keeping the IOCs to help with developing the big projects, the really capital intensive projects, but the indigenous companies and those opportunities are just amazing. And I think that's really kind of exciting and something that's exciting now, but definitely into the foreseeable future.
Next 15 years.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are the 2-3 technologies SPE is seeing, scale fastest globally that Nigerian operations should be plotting right now?
Yeah, this is, I'll be honest, this is a little bit of a tough question because sometimes it's hard to narrow those kind of things down. But I think in any kind of mature basin area, especially with some of the onshore opportunities, some of the newer enhanced oil recovery and improved oil recovery opportunities that SPE is very involved with, that technology transfer, are some good opportunities. I think also the integrated digital solutions and how SPE works with a lot of sister societies, but also internally with some of our technical sections to look at digital solutions like the data analytics we talked about earlier and AI. I think that's something that SPE's really had some good opportunities and some technology transfer between regions. Yeah.
Okay, so moving to leadership, talent, and women in energy. So to everyone listening to us right now, most especially the women, please pay attention to this. So you lead 115,000 members globally society of volunteers. What is the hardest part of leading technical professionals who don't report to you? And what can NOCs and IOCs learn from that media?
Yeah, so we are a massive membership-based organization, and we are based on volunteerism. And so people volunteering to SPE is key. But I think also you want to volunteer, but you also want to give back or to get back. And so being able to show people what's available for them, both as a member, but as a volunteer, has been incredibly important to SPE, both myself as president now, but past presidents. And I think NOCs and IOCs can somewhat learn from that model, in that it is a little bit of a give and take, and there should be two ways that the opportunities go. Yeah.
Okay, so that's wonderful. And on to the next. SPE runs the Women in Energy program. What is one initiative rolled out in the last 2 years that's actually moving the needle on retention of women in field and technical role?
Yeah. So we've actually the Women in Energy initiative was started. It was wonderful. We have actually have expanded that. We now call it diversity and inclusion opportunities, and mainly because we want to make sure that it's focused on the need for all different backgrounds to come into SPE and into the industry, because hearing all those different voices makes us a stronger industry over time. What have we done to really kind of help move the needle? I think giving people opportunities and leadership, giving women and, like I said, other diverse backgrounds leadership opportunities in SPE. They might not necessarily get them in their companies, but if we can help them with that through the society, it's good training for them also.
Okay, thank you so very much. So we have a talent drain. Many Nigerian engineers are leaving. What is SPE doing globally to keep young talent in energy? And what advice do you have for SPE student chapter in Nigeria?
Yeah. So Nigeria is not the only one that's seeing this. Worldwide, we're actually seeing a decrease in people going into engineering. Yeah, so I think a lot of it, so Society of Petroleum Engineers, we help especially with students to help them understand that there is a very long future in oil and gas. There's a very long future in energy. But we also have programs like Energy for Me that help to explain to primary and secondary school students that there's a need for energy, there's a need for engineers, and it actually is an exciting career. That it's just as exciting as being a YouTube star. So we have to do a little bit more of selling of our industry.
Okay, so to our listeners and to every one of us watching us right now, and to the young professions, to the young stars out there, looking forward to be an engineer, don't see it as a challenge. It's challenging, but still don't see it as a challenge. Okay, on to the next. In technical committees and on rigs, what is it a tactic you have seen work to move from diversity talk to real decision-making power for women?
Yeah, I think we do talk a lot about diversity, and then we talk a lot about where we actually, like you said earlier, moving the needle. I think where I've seen it really happen is giving people a chance, giving somebody that opportunity to make that impact. And I've seen that both in my industry career, I've seen that in my academic career, I've seen that in my SPE career. So we can't just talk about it. We have to actually do it. And we need to make sure that those people have those opportunities.
Wow. Okay, so moving to the closing. What is one thing Nigerians does better than anywhere else in energy that we don't celebrate enough globally?
We're sitting in it. This conference is amazing. This conference is probably the most energetic, well-attended, focused conference that I've seen, and in a lot of places I've been around the world. And I think what it is I'm trying to put my finger on it because I'd like to bottle it and take it with me, but I think it's because everybody is here. You've got the service companies, you've got the operators, you've got the big companies, you got the small companies, you got regulators, you got government. Everybody's here talking about the same thing. And when you have that type of collaboration, that is massive. So keep doing this, keep up with that collaboration, not just at this conference one time a year, but throughout the year.
Okay, so as SPE president, what is your one ask of Nigerian government, IOCs, and investors to unlock the next decade of energy growth?
Yeah, so SPE, we are a technology transfer organization. We're here to help with that technology transfer. We're here to help people develop their careers. And so what I would ask is give your people that opportunity to develop their careers and to take advantage of what SPE has available. We talked about younger folks earlier, give them those opportunities to really invest in their careers, and it's going to benefit the entire country and the industry.
Okay, so in 30 seconds, to the SPE members and students in this room, please let's pay attention. To those people in this room, why should they choose to build their career in energy and specifically in Africa?
We're going to need more of it. World population's going up, standard of living's going up, the need for data centers is going up. We are going to need more energy. This continent is probably going to need more energy differential than any other continent on the world. For the young people in the room, you're going to have a very long-term career in this industry and a lot of opportunities. It's an exciting one. Don't think it's dying. It's here to stay, and we need your help.
All right. So a last concluding question. In 2 minutes, can you share your life story to inspire the young professionals listening here and online?
2 minutes. My life story. So I did not think I was going to be a petroleum engineer. I'd never heard of it before.
Wow.
Back. Okay, there we go. So keep your mind open. Keep looking for opportunities. I had an opportunity to work in both industry and academics. I look back, I've had a lot of chances. One of the reasons I've had a lot of chances is I had a lot of people that surrounded me that gave me those chances. So look for mentors, look for people who will sponsor you. There's a difference between the two of those. They're not always going to be the people that are going to give you a job. They're going to be the people that are going to help you develop your skills to get that job. And so keep learning over time, and you're going to do great.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer, Ms. Kimmins, for sharing your idea, your experience to everyone here, to the people watching online, to people tuning in. Thank you.
Sorry, do we have any questions from the audience or those of us joining online? Any question? Okay, we're going to take just 2 questions because we're running out of time from the power shortage. I'll have one. Any other person? Question? Okay, let's do you then, please. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the session. Quite insightful. So I've got 2 questions. It's going to border around your experience with industry and academia as well. So my first question would be in the West, there's heavy collaboration between academia and the industry. How do you think Nigeria can leverage on that? And by leverage on that, I would mean, what can we do, to make the industry, papers that are coming out from the academia, those papers can become solutions, for the industry, they can be utilized. And my second question, I don't know if you want to take both at once or, okay. So my second question would be around the academia as well, right? So for younger persons and as a researcher that we sort of struggle with getting access to data, from, companies. There's a lot around, the security of that data. What's working for you as a researcher, in getting this data, providing solution? How is that working, and what can Nigeria, the industry in Nigeria learn from, providing access to data for researchers?
Yeah. No, those are good questions. So with the first one, a lot of what you see success-wise between industry and academics in the West is we speak on a pretty regular basis. And so most of the universities will have industry advisory boards that not only help them drive research direction, but it also drives curriculum. It makes sure that we're staying up to speed on what is needed by industry at that point in time. They don't happen overnight. I've worked with other countries around the world. Show the benefits of it. It just takes a little bit of time and it takes trust. Yeah, it takes trust. The second one, you know, it's interesting because I've worked in both situations where data is very, very, very controlled and sometimes when it's open. What I have seen is that there's a saying that increasing tide rises all ships, right? So if you share data and that is beneficial to one company, it can be beneficial to everybody. And sometimes it's hard to say, I don't want to share because I want it just to be beneficial to me. But it's a two-way street, right? So if my work helps raise this one, then some other work is going to help raise some other ones. So it's building trust. It's building that trust over time and showing the benefits that can come from it.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time. Thank you for making it down here. What sincerely do appreciate. So at this time, I'm gonna call. Okay. All right. Let's just take one more, especially
Sure.
from a
Yeah, that's
female
fine.
this time around.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, my question goes like this. So recently I started a series, Beyond the Degree series, and I've had conversations with a lot of recent graduates and students in final years. So you said something towards the end of what you were saying. You said, keep learning and eventually you're going to do good. Okay, so now in this process of keep learning, a lot of persons get confused in the process. Now, keep learning. They want to learn about AI, want to learn about well completion, want to learn about a lot of stuffs. So now, when do you now in this keep learning word, when do you now like get that hint that okay, let me focus and specialize on this? Now, what is your advice for someone who just wants to learn a whole lot of stuff and gets confused on the way? So how will you know that one that you should just take a pause, take a breather, and focus on moving on? And also, someone who keeps learning into different stuffs because you just want to learn about it and also make impact in lots of areas. So how do you navigate that?
Yeah. It's hard to make a huge impact in a lot of areas because nobody can be an expert across the board, right? So what I frequently tell my students is find an area that you have a passion in. It's okay to investigate different areas and whatnot, but somewhere you're going to find a passion in a certain topic. And when you find that passion, the thing that you wake up the next day saying, boy, I really want to know more about well completions, or I want to know more about data analytics, that's when you want to start to drive down that. That being said, you always need to make sure that you understand how those interact, right? So I can't just be in a vacuum. It's good to see what's happening on the fringes because that's going to impact what I do start to focus on. So, and if you haven't found that topic yet, that's okay. It'll come. It'll come.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Now that's a wealth of knowledge, right? Thank you so much, Madam President. We're super happy to have you here. Before I call my MD to make a presentation to you and the presenter, first of all, let me just recognize a few persons here. I want to specially welcome Mrs. Riverson. Thank you for joining us. It's amazing to see you here, giving your husband that support, and also Madam President, we appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. And then we also have in our midst, Dr. Kingsley Idedewo, the manager, Delta Factor from Zenergy. Please do greet the house, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here. And we also have our Chief Operating Officer of Zenergy, Engineer Debo Fabami. Please, sir, do greet the house. Thank you so much for joining us here. And if there are other persons I didn't mention, you are very much welcome, and we're very super happy to have all of you here. All right, so at this time, I'm going to call on our amazing MD. I expect all the Oida associates to give a serious round of applause as our MD, Engineer Emeka, and the former BOT chair, as he comes to we don't have a high table, but the high stage to make this presentation to Madam President for your patience and time. Can I have? All right, MD, please. Crazy, no, okay.